I'm going to keep my speech here short and sweet. I was trying to think of, what to say about Mike, and I thought back to a question Priya asked me recently. She randomly sends me text messages with questions. She does this to my mom too, just really random things. It's just what Priya does. But this one stood out to me, and it was just, I think the text read just at 11 p.m. at night probably, when did you meet Mike? And I had no idea. I never asked her what it was about or if this had to do with the wedding. But it made me think, I don't remember when I met him. And I talked to Erin, I'm like, do you remember when we met Mike? I thought back to a couple trips we had taken together, and I just couldn't pinpoint the first time. And I thought about it, and I realized that it was just because it felt like you had always been there. It was like a hole had been filled. And so I'm pretty sure it was that time we got together for Christmas, but I thought back to that trip, and it just, he fit in so well with our family that it just made perfect sense. Mike, there's so many words to describe him. And if you haven't filled out the sheets in the back there, trying to pick one word to describe each of these really complex, beautiful people is really hard. So here's a bunch to describe Mike. the top few words. Mike is very calm. She's very good for Priya. And if you knew her when she was younger, she was a little crazy. Still is sometimes. He's very patient. He's very thoughtful. He's very determined. And he's definitely very silly. He's always up for adventure as well. So essentially, Priya's most perfect match. But what I love and appreciate about Mike more than anything else is how he brings out the very best in Priya. And she's just so happy with him. So Mike, I just want to officially welcome you to the family today. I love you guys.
Hello. It's very good to get married today. So Priya and I decided not to have an officiant today because we don't like being told what to do or who we are. So instead, we're going to read our vows to each other, exchange rings, and declare ourselves married. And so she's gonna go first.
Because his is gonna be better, so that's literally how, yeah. Okay. Hi, Mike. I had to write that because I don't want to forget. On our first date, I thought, wow, this guy's way cuter than his photos on Tinder. And I also thought, this is going to be a great summer fling. At that point, I thought I was moving to England in the fall for school, so I wasn't putting any expectations on our meeting. Because we had such a great time that night, and because I have absolutely zero game, I texted you the very next morning to invite you on what is quite possibly the lamest second date suggestion, sitting at a cafe, this cafe, and doing work together. I'm so lame. You said yes though. You read while I typed, and we established a really sweet flow of working intently alongside each other and rewarding ourselves with breaks where we took time to get to know each other. That flow is how I'd characterize our whole dynamic and why our relationship works so well. We both work really hard with intention and focus, and we both prioritize making time for each other, for our friends and family, and for rest and rejuvenation. These shared values, plus the fact that we're both extreme goofballs, has made fitting our lives together feel really simple. When I practice, this is the part I cried at, so I'm gonna try real hard not to. You're really hard on me when I'm doubting myself. I used to think this was super annoying because I was like, why won't you just let me wallow in my self-pity? But now I realize it's an expression of your profound respect and belief in me. I love the way that you believe in me. I love that you know who my best self is when I'm not honoring her and how you help me get back to her. I've been a self-proclaimed independent spirit for a while. I don't like relying on other people to get stuff done or to feel comfortable and happy. You and your love have taught me that it's a beautiful and loving act to depend on someone else. It doesn't make us weak, it makes us more powerful. Vulnerability and opening up my heart has always been difficult for me. You've shown me so many times that vulnerability is welcome with you, and the home we've built together is safe, and it's generous, and it's forgiving. I love our cozy, weird home filled with talking stuffed animals with extensive backstories. An imaginary council of really judgmental birds of all species. And our encouragement of each other's bests and sometimes worst habits when they serve us. Mike, you're brilliant, curious, thoughtful, so loving, encouraging, super, super weird, open to change because you know that really good love demands it, hilarious and very good at knowing where to give me ice cream at all hours of the day. I love you.
So I'm going to tell the flip side of those first two dates. Priya, by the way, thanks for marrying me. Before I met you, I was unsure about a lot of things. I was in graduate school finishing a degree I was unsure would lead to anything. I was writing a dissertation I was unsure I'd ever be able to complete and for which I had lost almost all passion. I was making next to nothing at a university that was in a financial crisis and that's now facing an accreditation crisis. Get your shit together, Maryland. If this academic career didn't work, I had no fallback, and for a minute, it looked like I might have to face that reality. I isolated myself, and I was very lonely. In this headspace, I used dating apps infrequently, but when I did, I didn't take them very seriously. Because you can't find love on Tinder. I swiped right on your profile. Right is good?
Yeah.
To be honest, I don't remember why, but looking back, I'm astonished at how the smallest, most superficial gesture ended up being the most important decision I ever made. For our first date, my sister Jen and my cousin Joe, who are here today, had to drive me to Club Charles because my car's engine block cracked and steamed out on the side of the highway in what was a very traumatic event. I was dressed in whack shit. I had a button up, I had slacks on, I had no baseball cap. Clothes you'd rarely see me wearing afterward. But you were playing it cool in jeans and a t-shirt and a short haircut. I don't remember what we talked about, but I remember you. You were open, you were confident, you were stunning, you knew everyone in the bar. It astounded me. Because that's an awful bar full of awful people. As the kids probably no longer say, I was shook. The next day, you were all I could think about. Luckily, you texted me and asked me to hang out. The next day, like you said, 20 feet from where we're standing. We met at this very restaurant, and we worked, and I ended up getting a significant amount of reading done for a dissertation that I'd almost quit on. Everything seemed to be changing. The more I found out about you, the more I admired and began to love you. You had just quit your job as the executive director of an arts district, flags. When you told me the conditions surrounding your decision, I was in awe. You felt undervalued, overworked, unsupported. As a graduate student, I had come to accept these conditions as part of the process, of something over which I had no control. But you refused to be devalued. You refused to have your dignity taken away from you. You refused to live in a perpetual state of uncertainty. You doggedly asserted and defended your values. You refused to be unsure. I absorbed these lessons from you as though through osmosis. You made me better. And as I stand before you here today, I'm no longer unsure. So here are my vows. I vow to be your advocate. I vow to love and support you. I vow to listen and not talk when I don't need to. When we're in bed at night watching Netflix and you turn to me and say, I want ice creams, I vow to get it for you. And when I go to get dressed to get the ice cream, and you say, but I don't want you to leave Priya, I vow to order it on Grubhub. When I'm reading a book and you come up to me and say, I want more attention, I vow to throw that book in the trash and give you that attention. I vow to understand that when you say, you are my forever, you can't escape me now, in a voice that I can only describe as Joker-esque, that it's meant to be loving and not horrifying. You are a transcendent person, Priya. Your commitment to restorative justice, to preserving your cultural heritage, to providing help to those who need it, to maintaining and cultivating your friendships, to doing all of these things even when they're inconvenient is inspiring. I love you more than any piece of paper covered in words can convey. Priya, you are my forever, and you can't escape me now.
Greg.